all these to be. It is the dynamic duo, myself and Jack, and we're going to discuss.
Who's Batman and who's Robin?
What's that?
Who's Batman and who's Robin? Is it like,
I'm definitely Robin. Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. I'm always dressed a bit like Robin. Actually, I know a little bit in the bright colours.
Face mask on as well with a microphone, and
it's I'm definitely the Robin. Yeah, let us know in the comments, guys, what you reckon. But yeah, I'm definitely the Robin of the two. So let's talk about it because, as the title says, we're talking about the departure of, I'm going to say, at the very least, a Leeds United cult hero. I think many would push towards the L words, legends. But I think Luke Ayling is somewhere between, because I'm very strict on we were called a legend and not a legend. I say he's very close between a cult hero and a legend. However it is, it's quite a sad day, isn't it? Let's be honest. Seeing Luke Ayling leave the football club. I mean, what's your thoughts on it, Jack? I mean, first of all, do you think it was the right decision? And secondly, how would you rank, Luke Ayling in the, the tiers of kind of like past Leeds United players?
I think what you've just hit the nail on the head there, Oscar, with the description of, between a legend and a cult hero. You could never describe Luke Ayling as being in the same ilk as someone like a Billy Bremner or Jack Charlton or Johnny Giles or any of them great players. But I think the thing about Luke Ayling was part of a side and a time when Leeds United were really shit and everything were really, really bad to what we are today. And he's been and lived through every single bit of that with us and been part of it. So, it is a sad day to see him go after 7.5 years. It's like you say, you don't get many players that are at a club for 7.5 years. I think we can all look back on him and think that, we're going to miss the character. We're going to miss that personality. But the thing that I'm not going to miss, and that sad thing, is that the player that he had actually become.
Yeah, no, I understand.
If that's what I mean. And that would have thing. And is it the right time? Yes. And is it the right time for Luke Ayling and his career at 32-year-old to move on and try and play for however many years he can? It is. And I don't think that there's any Leeds fan out there that could ever wish him anything but good luck and all the best. And I think that us as Leeds fans as well would welcome him back with open arms. And the key to our door would always be in his hands to just open it anytime. There's not one Leeds fan out there could ever wish him anything but good luck and all the best. And I think that's how I can look at this what's happened. It is sad because it's like coming to that end of an era of the Bielsa era and all that. We've got Cooper left, we've got Dallas left, haven't we? But as they say, father time don't wait for no one, does it? It's just one of them things. You get older, the legs keep going. You haven't got everything you had back in them days, and I think we've just seen that in the last few years. Especially this season and towards back in the last year with Luke Ayling, that his legs weren't as good as they were back then.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think the turning point for me with Luke Ayling was Arsenal away. About, I think it was the back end of the season we stayed up under Marsh, 2022. He got that sending off, and it was one of the most craziest sendings off I think I've ever seen in terms of just completely, I don't know what Luke Ayling was thinking kind of thing, and you just thought, that's not Luke Ayling, that's like an imposter kind of thing. And it is sad, when I think you said it before, the Luke Ayling we saw, this season and last season, it wasn't the Luke Ayling that, at his best. I think Luke Ayling from, 2016 to 2021, incredible. And I think, naturally with any player, when you're at the club for so long, you're going to have your bad moments, particularly towards the end. And that's normally, it happens to the best. It's just one of those things with Luke Ayling. But I think I'm glad we've done it, in terms of that, Luke Ayling will go out with a, fantastic catalogue of Leeds moments. I mean, you look at the goals we've scored, like some of the iconic goals we've scored in the last sort of 5 or 6 years. Luke Ayling's involved. Huddersfield at home, the Pablo winner at Swansea, he set it up. Wolves away, when I think he scored 2 on that day, and we came back from 2 down, and it kept us up ultimately. He always seems to be involved in the big moments, and even when you go back to the start of his Leeds career, because it wasn't just him under Bielsa. Under Gary Monk, to be fair, when he first came to the club, we were second bottom in the Championship. It wasn't just Luke Ayling, but him, Kyle Bartley, Janssen, Berardi. They formed a back four that kind of gave us a bit of hope. Listen, it wasn't a great team to watch, but it gave you a bit of pride back in Leeds United again. It felt like a lot more of a Leeds United team. And considering he cost 200,000, he wasn't wanted by Bristol City. I think it's been, if you had told me back in 2016, this is what would have happened with the signing, I think you just bit your hand off, to be honest with you. So you got to give him great credit for that. And yeah, it's one of those. I think whenever you're at a club for so long, I think the old saying is, if you stay long enough, you become the villain. It's something like that, the saying. I can't remember what the exact saying is. You guys will know what I mean, but it is one of those. It's kind of a similar thing with obviously Click. We obviously had a bad last sort of year or so at Leeds, but you can't take away from what the body of work he'd done before that. So it's just one of those. But I think the main thing is for us is just getting that replacement sorted. And I can see Luke Ayling doing really well at Middlesbrough. I think for Luke Ayling as well, a fresh start is probably what he wants. Because it's been, even this season, even though we've been doing well on the pitch individually, I think it has been a struggle for Luke. If we're being totally honest, I can't really think of any performances where I thought it looks like the Luke Ayling of old, really.
Yeah, I'll agree with you on that. But also, when you've just gone back to the old days, I just want to actually bring up, it's actually one of my favouriteest chants that Leeds have ever come up with.
Oh, yes.
Luke Ayling,
Berardi, Pontus, Janssen, Bartley. Fulham away, mate. Fulham away will stay in my head for the rest of my life when that first came out. Honestly.
One of my most favourite chants that for the last few years, that were absolutely fantastic. But, I mean, like you just brought up there, you can go on about, your memories of Luke Ayling. Like you say, the Wolves, last minute goal, and his imitation Robbie Keane celebration that just went completely wrong. That's what it was. It endeared you to him. He just didn't give a shit, did he? The goal against Huddersfield, obviously where we had it South Stand, and you can go back if you're watching, you haven't seen it. Tasha had fan cam for that day, and the view that she had of that goal was absolutely amazing because we were literally right on it. So if you want to ever go back on YouTube and go Huddersfield, it's absolutely an amazing view of the goal. But one of my biggest things of Ayling, one of the things that will always stick with me is the Ayling flop. The Ayling flop, when he just literally, the amount of times he would get a free kick and how has he just got that again? And you'd see him get up and he'd start giggling to himself because he'd flung himself on the floor. But no matter what game he was in, he always seemed to get away with it. He would going over before he'd even been touched. And
sometimes you're thinking, if I'm the opposition, I'm thinking, dive
I'm going to absolutely
doing that. You know what I mean?
He'd get up giggling because he knew he'd just got away with it again. But
do you think now, though, serious question, do you think the team lacks shithouses now, if we're being honest? I kind of thinking the shithouse quota's gone now, in terms of Alioski, Click, Ayling.
I knew you were going to say, you had to say Klitsch, didn't you?
Who's going to step up now? It's hard. I'm looking at maybe Rodon. Rodon's got maybe a little bit of edge to him, but I don't know.
Rodon's got that little bit of devilment about him, you can see, but I think Rodon's more, Rodon gets mad at himself, he gets mad at things, but I just don't think he's got that shithousery. Do you know what I mean? I think that's why we loved Ayling so much.
Yeah.
We did Klitsch. And they had that. They understood what Leeds were. We're just a bunch of shithouses, aren't we? We're the most hated fan base. We're the most hated club.
All the best Leeds teams have had at least 4 or 5 shithouses in them. Yeah, it's just fact, isn't it? 92, 70, 72. Even the Champions League team, the Bielsa team, it has to have shithouses in there. And Hannah, I'm not sure if you can hear this. I can see it, but I can't. Can you try and re-enter the stream if that's okay? I can't. I had this trouble with Jack before. I might be able to add you in then. Yeah, I'll try it in a second. Sorry about Steve. I have Steve's comment up for about 2 hours there. Right, let's have a look at any other comments here. So, Ayling at 3-2 at Wolves, special moment. Yeah, that was
100%.
That was probably the high point under Marsh. That, to be fair, forget that game was under Marsh.
There They want me.
It wasn't really.
Yeah, it was.
I think he's done more podcasts than he has managed wins at Leeds United.
I know we're going a bit off. I'm going a bit off skew here, but I've seen the one he's just done with Simon Jordan, and I'm just like, I was embarrassed for him.
It was.
It were embarrassing.
When you start a podcast saying there was an 84% chance we were going to go down anyway, it's not great, that is it? It's like
I watched it, and even Simon Jordan were like, "Yeah, but you won 12 games out of so many or whatever." Yeah, but the process and that's all. And I thought, you are actually Ted Lasso. You deserve that nickname, Ted Lasso.
I think it's harsh on Ted Lasso. I'm not gonna lie.
On Ted Lasso as well.
I think it's harsh on Ted Lasso at this point.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing. I think he hadn't. I don't think he's done himself any favors to try to get another job, because I think just the shite that came out of his mouth was just unbelievable. Anyway, I don't know why we've gone completely off tangent.
I had to get that dig in at Jesse Marsh. I just had to get it in there. Thought, how am I going to get this in? How am I going to get a bit of a dig in at Jesse Marsh? But yeah, I mean, listen, obviously the outpouring of ex-Leeds players, players that played alongside him, Pablo Hernandez, Click, Berardi, Barry Douglas was on there, Coops. It was obviously a really, really well thought of character, not just around the club, but actually in the club as well. Obviously we know he did lots of charity, lots for the foundation, lots for, the community and that lot. But inside the club, he was clearly seen as a leader as well, mate.
He was, definitely. I mean, like I said, the statement that I seen Leeds United put out yesterday, I think it was one of the longest statements I've seen them, even about players, legends from the past that have died. I don't think they've had the statement that Luke Ayling got from the club yesterday. Even Maraf did his own statement. I think am I on my own here? You're back. We're back. We're back.
Sorry about that. I was trying to work out how to get Hannah into the stream. I had to refresh mine to
I'm sorry. I'm late. I'm really sorry.
No worries.
Hang on.
I just finished what I was saying, and even Maraf has come out and he's made a statement. And then I will admit tonight, I think if you've gone on Leeds' website, Luke's actually done his own video talking about his time at Leeds. And I'll admit, my old cynical, stone cold heart actually got a little bit of a tear in his eye, and I thought, it is a bit sad. It's a bit sad what's happened, that it is end of an era, isn't it? It's the end of an era, the lad's been here for that long. He's been through the ups and downs. He's done everything with us. He's got promoted. He's been relegated. He's been through the shit, but he's stuck it out with us. And I think, that's my one thing that I'll sort of take away about Luke Ayling. He understood the club. He understood what Leeds United were. Much the same as Cooper. And as you said, they're like the Three Musketeers, him, Cooper and Dallas, aren't they?
Yeah.
They've been here that long. And they seem to have a bond together, don't they? All three of them. And I think they just understand what the club is. So, yeah, it's sad. But I'm not going to cry on camera. No, because I look a bit soft.
You didn't cry when Bielsa got sacked, so you're not going to cry now.
But
you know what's mad?
Times, I'm not going to lie.
You've cried.
I have had a few tears, yeah. It's sad. I get it though, but it's sad, isn't it? It's like the end of an era. It's like it's Luke Ayling. Like it's just so sad.
I know.
It does feel weird though. Like he's when you've had a player at Leeds, like it's been a long time since we've had a player play 8 years for us. Like since we got relegated from the Premier League, it's been a long. First time around, 2004. I can't remember the last time we had a player who's been at us for 8 years. I think Lucas was the last testimonial we had. Back in the mid 2000s. So yeah, it just shows how long it is since we've had longevity. But Hannah, I mean, we've had the discussion between myself and Jack. I've gone for he's between a cult hero and a legend. I mean, where would you go for in terms of on the scale of like Leeds United legends? Where would you kind of like rank Luke Ayling for yourself?
For me personally, I'd put him as a legend because it was such a dire time for so many years being a Leeds fan. It was miserable. We were going nowhere. It was awful. And I think to me, I look at all of that promotion team very similar. obviously some stand out more than others, Ayling, Cooper, and so forth. But to me, I'd always look at them as a legend to me personally because of the joy they brought back. And I feel like anyone who got us back up, to me, is on that stature for me, because
that's
I just
totally
didn't
fair.
think we were ever going to get there. And it's with Ayling, the thing with me with Ayling is I feel like you don't come across players very often that didn't have really any connection to Leeds, not from the area. They didn't, they're not a Leeds fan. But I felt like with Ayling, when he come to the club, he just got it. He understood it. He got it. He was one of the fans. And I feel like the connection, it's just something you don't come across very often. Like, you literally felt like you knew him. Like, felt like he was one of us. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, to me, I would class him as a legend because he got us back up to where we belong. And I think it took an awful long time and a lot of people tried and failed. So he's a legend to me.
I'd agree with that, though. If you'd never heard Luke Ayling, speak in terms of his accent, you would actually think he was a local player. In terms of he did feel like a proper kind of like Leeds, Leeds-born, come through the academy kind of player. He had that kind of vibe about him. I do totally get that. You know what's absolutely crazy about Luke Ayling? He's played more minutes in his career than James Milner, and he's 5 years younger than James Milner.
Yeah, I know that.
That is absolutely. When we're talking about burning out.
Where have you pulled that stat from?
I saw it on Twitter, and I thought I'm going to use that. I'm going to use that at some point today.
There's just one other thing I want to bring up, and this word. I don't know if you remember. A few years. I mean, we all know that he suffers with his speech, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He suffers with. He's got a bad stammer, doesn't he? You know how he is. And I said, and I'd imagine when he's nervous and things like that, it gets worse. But the one thing that always stuck out for me with him, if you remember when we got beat by Nottingham Forest the year we got promoted, and Forest they'd won the league, they'd won it all. And we put in one of the worst performances we could have done all year at the time when it was crucial. But he was the one man that actually came out and fronted the press that night. And you could probably see it, and you listen to his voice, and you can actually hear how genuine he is, how gutted he was. And his stammer was really bad. And I remember on social media, a lot of people started taking a piss out of him because
they did. Yeah,
his stammer, which I thought was absolutely disgusting. Do you know what I mean? Because then we did find out that he actually has got a bad stutter. But the emotion that he's shown that night, for me, that's when I thought he gets this club. And it meant so much to him. We'd been beaten by one of his so-called promotion rivals at that night and been beaten convincingly by him. But he still fronted the press. You know what I mean? I don't know if he was captain that night or whatever it was, but he would have won that actually went and spoke to the media and went on TV and did all that. And his estimation of him, for me, that night went through the roof because I knew that he could tell he was struggling, actually having to try and do it. And, with his own sort of personal issues he had with his own speech, but he still got up there and he did it. And I thought, no, fair play to you, mate. Fair play for doing this now.
It's a leader, isn't it? That's the leader in him just coming out. That's the leader in him, though, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah, I'm going to front this. No, you know what I mean. And he spoke from the heart. You could tell he was absolutely devastated by what had happened. And I loved him even more after that night. I did.
I know that's not a typical moment to pick out as well, but when I think back, and when years to come, when I think back to Ayling and stuff, that's one of the standouts for me. I know it wasn't a positive. Yeah. It was a bit of a crappy time, but to me, that's one of my favourite Luke Ayling moments because it must have took a lot to do that, especially with, the speech issues that he's got. And he came out and, we all know we're very demanding as Leeds fans. And I think for him to come out and do that and put that on his shoulders said an awful lot about him and how much he loved the club and how much, again, goes back to the fact I just felt like Ayling was one of us and he wanted it as much as us.
Of course he did. I think we all... That night, I could see it hurt him as much as it did us, as it did all us as fans. He felt the same as us. To me, that wasn't a player talking that night. That was like a fan, like what me, you talk. That's how it felt to me that night after that Forest game. How he spoke, you could hear the hurt in his voice, and he was just shell shocked, And it meant a lot to me that it did, and that's one of my biggest sort of memories I'll have of him, that I could see that this club meant everything to him. You know,
and the whole season turned on that moment as well. Because I remember after that game, during that midweek, so I went to the game. It was Brentford away. I think it was like on the Tuesday night after it, and I think Brentford were flying at that point, and I think everyone going into it, I had a few drinks that night.
His lunatic thing, didn't he?
Oh yeah, Kiko did it like first minute of the game. You're thinking, I had a few drinks, and the crowd had turned that night, kind of thing. After that, Kiko had done that, and I thought, you know what, we're never going to get out of this league. Bielsa's going to go. We're going to get back with Paul Heckingbottom, and we're never going to get out of this league. It's all over. And then that second half, I mean, that game, and then we followed it up with like sort of 5 or 6 wins on the bounce. COVID hit. And then we just got the job done after that. I just felt that it felt like a turning point, that. And I think obviously there was a bit of talk about Bielsa did a massive team meeting. It didn't tend to be like a Bielsa thing to really do motivational speeches, but when he did it, it worked really well. And apparently, Luke Ayling was quite responsive to that as well in that kind of sense. But yeah, I just think the whole story. You look at we arrived at the club where we were second from bottom in the league. We were struggling. We were really struggling at that point. I think we'd lost sort of 4 of the first 5 games under Monk. We were going absolutely nowhere fast at that point. And, the way it just felt like his signing was like the catalyst. It wasn't just him. Then obviously Pontus Jansson turned up, Pablo turned up, Click turned up, all these other players, Bartley. But it felt like his signing was the one where you thought, actually, this looks like a team you can be proud of again. And and that's all you can kind of ask for from a player like that. And obviously, you got the Ayling flop moments. But one moment that really stands out to me is first season back in the Premier League, first game back, Liverpool away. I think we went 1 down after about a minute. Jack Harrison scored an absolute wonder goal. And then straight from Liverpool's kickoff, we got the ball back. Luke Ayling on the edge of his own box decided to nutmeg Sadio Mane, pulled it off.
I remember it, yeah.
And then played like a raking pass. And I just remember him looking, you can actually see him on TV, looking on the sideline at someone on the bench. He was just going like that. He was just going like that. Like, I can't believe that. He was honestly, that period for Ayling, sort of 2020, 2021, around COVID, I thought that was his peak. I thought he was absolutely the amount of wingers he had, like Mane, Sane, people like that, I can't think who else, Martinelli, Son, all these top class left wingers. He dealt with them really well. I mean, a lot of people's memories of Luke Ayling in the Premier League is him struggling, but that first season, COVID, him, Bamford, absolutely unplayable. Ayling that season was the partnership he built with Rafinha on that side was absolutely. Honestly, it's one of the best. It's one of the most enjoyable partnerships I think I've seen, from a Leeds team in terms of the combinations on that side. It was brilliant to watch.
I think you forget that because obviously it's been hard watching Ayling sort of. I'm not going to say deteriorate, but you could see that when he was coming to end, and you sort of forget about them times, don't you? Because it's like say a negative feeling is more. It's more stronger than what a positive feeling is. But when what you just mentioned there, then it all comes back to you, and you remember that first year back in Premier League. It was absolutely fantastic, wasn't it?
It was. Apart from the Man United games, it was.
It was literally like dream world.
He got an absolute rocket at Old Trafford, right? And I remember first game of the year. To
be fair, yeah.
We got it back to 1-1. And all that did was get them mad, and they scored about 3 in about 5 minutes against us. And I remember I thought, Ayling, you twat, you shouldn't have scored against him.
Should have crossed it instead.
But yeah, there's lots of memories of him in there, you know what I mean? It's like say,
it's amazing though what he come from. Like, I know we're going off the topic here, but it's just incredible what Bielsa did to those lads. Like what. I bet if someone had said to Ayling when he joined Leeds 7-8 years ago that he was going to become what he become and do the things he did, I bet he'd have just been like, God, do you know what I mean? That's just dream world.
How much drugs have you had tonight? That's what he'd been saying, something like that. You had to drink.
It's literally like a fairy tale, isn't it? It literally is like a fairy tale what they all did together.
It's unreal. Like what he came from, being a backup defender in the Championship for Bristol City. Not even a good Championship team. And for me, in terms of right backs, I'm not going to lie to you. In terms of right backs I've seen with my own eyes, Gary Kelly is number one by a long, long way. He's at a certain standard. But Luke Ayling is like the midi Gary Kelly in the fact that the journey he's come on. He's nowhere near Gary Kelly's level. I'm not saying that at all. But in terms of like the Championship equivalent, in terms of the journey he's come on, because you remember Gary Kelly coming through, a lot of people said, oh, he's not going to be good enough for the Champions League. He had some of the top wings in Europe on lockdown. He's not going to be good enough to push for a Premier League title. And he just proved himself. And Luke Ayling did that every single time as well. Just proved himself that he'd get better and better and better and better and better. The commitment, leader. And yeah, he's just, for so long after Gary Kelly left, we had absolutely horrific right backs at the club, if we're being honest. We had people like Jason Crowe, Paul Connolly. Who else do we have? Scott Wilson went there for a little bit as well.
You're bringing some awful bad memories back in.
I know. It's who else can I think of? Who else can I think of worse than that? I don't know. Yeah, I think Jason Crowe, Paul Connolly is kind of your peak, isn't it? That was probably the word. That was like that.
Leave it at that. Leave it at that.
Yeah. You get the vibe. You get the vibe. Vernon Manita will throw in there as well.
Manita, bloody hell. There's some names from past there, Oscar.
But we went so long. It's a bit like our situation at left back. We went so long without quality fullbacks, and Luke Ayling turned up. And the fact as well, when I said about the minutes, he played every minute of every game for like 6 or 7 years.
He did. That can't go unnoticed, can it? He can't.
Under so many different managers. Obviously Bielsa we had some stability with, but you think of how many managers we went through in that period before Bielsa, to continue to be, backed to, as one of the leaders in the team, it says a lot, really. It does really say a lot. But I mean, Hannah, I think one of the things we do need to talk about is, myself and Jack have both kind of addressed this. Was it the right decision to let Luke Ayling go at this point?
Yeah, I think we owed it to him. I think he's done so much for us. He's been an unbelievable servant to Leeds. We all know he loves Leeds. Do you know what I mean? He's always going to be Leeds. I think from what I've seen today, am I right in he went to Farker after the Peterborough game and said he wanted the move? I think would have been he's not going to get constant minutes. He hasn't been. So I think we'd have been wrong to stand in his way. At the end of the day, football is a short career, and he's got a family to look. He's got, at the end of the day, ultimately he's got a family to look after. So he's going to want to go. He's going to want to play minutes. Hopefully get a move, because obviously the contract's out in the summer. So we couldn't have stood in his way. I'm sad about it. Like, I did absolutely cry my eyes out over it. I'm not going to lie. Like, I am that person. But I think we'd have been wrong to stand in his way, yeah. And he has just literally gone to Borough, which is right literally next to me. So I'm hoping I do see him about at some point, and I can go and give him the biggest cuddle and just say thank you so much for everything you did. But yeah, I wish him all the luck, and I think we were right to let him go. I'm sad, but I do think it was the right thing.
Yeah, I think we were kind of in agreement. I think amongst us, in terms of it was the right decision to make. And I think one thing we do need to talk about is, the elephant in the room is Leeds United have let 2 right backs go this January, and so far we haven't signed any to replace them.
It's Leeds United all over, is that, innit? We haven't got a right back, so let's just get 2 out of the window and let's just hope for the best.
But it's all about the replacement, isn't it, guys? It's all about that replacement. Who we get in. I mean, obviously, we're seeing Nico Williams mentioned, Connor Roberts quite strong. I mean, Connor Roberts is probably the strongest kind of mentioned so far in terms of consistently being mentioned for the last week or so. Trying to think who else has been mentioned, and Ben Johnson from West Ham as well. I think his contract's running down, so. Clear, I would be absolutely staggered if we don't sign a right back in. And I can't see a situation where we don't sign a right back. I mean, we will sign a right back, surely. I mean, there's no way we're not just going to stick with Archie at there.
How I'm looking at the minute is, I just don't think that the club is that badly run at the minute to let 2 right backs go when you're in such a strong position, to push on to still get automatic promotion. I know obviously it's a bit up and down at the minute, with how things could be. Forget about Leicester. We're all good. Everyone's looking for second place. Leicester have it now. They're just going to walk away with it, which I did say from start of season. So you're looking at ourselves, Ipswich, Southampton. I don't know what the points gap is between us, and I don't know who's fourth. Is it West Brom or fourth?
Is it 6 to West Brom? I think we're 6 ahead of West Brom.
Even West Brom at 6 points and nowhere near out of it. Out of West Brom,
I think half a season to go here. You think how far back Southampton were a few weeks ago. It can still. I still think it's on top 2 for me.
To me, though, I've said, and I'll say it, they're the danger. Southampton. They've just gone along nicely, just kept going along nicely, getting results. No one's talking about them. No one's saying anything, and now they've just sneaked in.
Yeah, I agree. Completely agree with that.
Yeah. It's everyone spoke about Leeds and Ipswich and the chase, and if you think it's like I said, Christmas were an absolute fucking shit show of a period for us, wasn't it? When we beat Ipswich,
they were terrible.
We were talking about catching them, and then next thing we're trying to catch Southampton when it got to January 1st. You know what I mean? It's crazy, isn't it? And there's going to be a lot more twists and turns come. As I've said, me personally, I don't even want to finish second. I'd rather go through playoffs, but I know that the playoffs are...
No, mate, I can't do it. I can't do it. We've got that holiday, haven't we, planned for after the season? Tash's birthday.
Yeah.
I need promotion sealed before that. I can't enjoy the holiday if we
can't believe we want playoffs. We can't do that.
Can't do playoffs.
But finishing second, it's like
I'd take second, not playoffs.
No, I want to go up at Wembley.
To be fair, after Doncaster, I want that revenge. To be fair,
and Watford, don't forget Watford.
Watford as well, but Watford was Cardiff. Yeah, that was that Watford one. That Watford one. I can still see David Healy getting benched in the head now. Kevin Blackwell decided. Kevin Blackwell just basically decided. Now we don't want to go up this season. Yeah, we'll go up next season instead. I mean,
he played one up front, didn't he? Robbles. I'll always remember it. Robbles up front on his run in a playoff final. I'll never forget it.
Let's change what we've done all season for this one game, and it'll go well, won't it? Yeah. Oh God.
I think if you can see it in the future and you know for a fact, yes, we're going to win it. Yeah, I'll take the playoffs.
You want a trip to Wembley and then celebrating, and in Trafalgar Square in Cheltenham, swinging your top round your head like that in Trafalgar Square. You can picture it now, can't you?
I'll take the Wembley trip.
We go well with stuff like that.
No.
I'll take the Wembley trip, but for the FA Cup final instead of the playoff final.
Yeah, that's another thing.
Thinking. We've won one cup game. We've won a cup game, and now we're going to win it. We've beaten the League One team away from home, and now we're going to win the cup.
Hold on. No, not only just won a cup game, but we've actually got an home draw as well.
Yeah,
so
it's meant to be.
It's our year this year. It's our year. We've got an home draw. That's it now. We're going to win it.
And I'm glad it was them in a way, because it really angered me, the 12:30. So put the away game at 12:30. So that's what, they deserve it. I know it wasn't.
I think we should call that an 11 o'clock kickoff, that game. 11 o'clock kickoff, the Plymouth can come to us.
The fan cam for that one was hilarious.
I hope Chino's come.
Oh, Chinos.
Chinos has to come.
Chinos needs to be on the pitch before the game.
Chinos is now a Plymouth legend. He's actually
I think that's my favourite moment of the season. That.
What, Chinos?
Yeah, in the South Stand for that game, and just it's one of them. It's just like, the fan cam on that as well. That was just.
I've seen a tweet of a Plymouth fan saying on Twitter, they put, "Why don't we all go to Leeds away and Chinos?"
That would be class, to be fair. Oh, it was well, that's probably my favourite bit of the season. That, to be fair, that is. You don't get that in the Premier League, that banter. That's the one thing. You don't actually get stuff like that at all. And all far, that's it. I don't. Do you really want to go up anyway?
No.
I've had this conversation. I absolutely despise the Premier League.
It's like, I think myself and Tash were on about it. Like, now you've been there, you're just like, nah, it's not what it's cracked up to be. And now we've come back down. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it miles more in Champions. Yeah, but it's just that chase of trying to get there. That's what keeps you going, doesn't it? But then once you finally do it, you go, this is going to be another fucking shit year, isn't it? It's just going to be crap, innit? You know what I mean? And you want to go back
to these owners, though. I think we'd have a better go at it. We'd have a better go with it.
Sorry, I took it. The old blah, blah, blah.
I'll let Hannah go first.
Yeah, go on, Hannah. Sorry.
I know, it's just that saying, isn't it? Like the journey's better than like the destination and stuff. Like, yeah, I don't. You celebrate each week. Like, come on, we need to get promoted. But it was a miserable old go, that Premier League, wasn't it?
The
last year was just brutal. It's nice to be going on the road with wins now.
It is, and enjoying yourself. And turning up and thinking, oh, fuck me, fucking De Bruyne's going to set up Ireland for 4 this week. And fucking,
there's only so much of Saka against Firpo you can take, isn't there?
That's the right description. You know.
It's but no, it is true. But the only thing I'd say is, the crucial thing about getting up this season is your Joe Rodons, your Pascals, your Somervilles, your Rutters. They're not. We have to. Ampadu as well. Archie potentially as well. That's where the pressure comes from for me.
Yeah. No, I agree totally with you. I do. Them kind of players, I'm sure they're on everyone's radar at the minute, aren't they? You know what I mean? Especially Somerville. I mean, Somerville must be on everyone's radar from the Premier League to even teams in Europe. It must be. Archie's just Archie, and he can play right back. We know he's a midfielder. He's
special, isn't he, Archie?
Very, very, very special. He wouldn't surprise me if someone like a Borussia Dortmund will look at him.
Yeah.
Because they always go for young kids that they can see that can develop and sell on from.
I'd love us just to go and sign Rodon. I'd be so.
That's the big one. I think that every single Leeds fan, all of us, are like, we don't want another repeat of Ben White. We can't repeat of Ben White, can we? Just don't.
And you feel yourself falling. Like I say this all the time at the games. I can feel myself falling in love with him more and more and more. And it's just like, Hannah, stop. You've been here before. Don't do it again.
No, because Tasha goes mad at me because I am in love with Rodon. I'm just like, he will be the one I'll be like, no, I will hold my head in my hands if we don't sign him. I will. He's the one.
Yeah, I think we'll sign him.
Well, I think he's enjoying it here, but sounds of things, and I think I don't think that he's actually liking being here, which is a bonus. I think he knows he's feeling loved, isn't he? And I think he knows the fans love him, don't he? And he's feeling a part of a club where he'd go back to Tottenham, and I think he'd be just a number. He'd be just a number there, and I don't think it'd suit him. I think he needs to just bite the bullet. Even if we stayed in Championship, if we don't go up this year and we stay in Championship, sign him, give him the captaincy and build a team around him, and just say, look, you're probably the most important player we could have at the minute. And I think
he's my favourite player by a mile. I'm the same as you guys.
Ampadu's not far behind him, but he Rodon is my favourite player at the minute. He is.
Yeah, I totally agree. Rodon, Ampadu, definitely. I think they've just fitted in so well, haven't they? They've just like cracked on with it, and like some of the tackles Rodon goes in for, you just like, go on. Do you know what I mean? I love it. Absolutely love it.
Well, she said that because every game, as soon as I see him go for an header, first thing, Rodon! That's what I just shout that every game. Tasha goes, I know you were going to say it. But I don't.
The amount of times he's made goal-saving blocks with his nose or his neck or whatever. He's just a proper, full-on, old-school defender.
He is. But, yeah.
It's gonna hurt different if he doesn't stay. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's gonna hurt different. But he will stay. He will stay.
Yeah,
our Welsh contingent will keep him at Leeds.
Yeah, I hope so. I think we all do, don't we? We all do.
You just love to. I think the only way you can sum it up is you just love to go for a beer with him.
Rodon. I think he's someone you'd have a right laugh with.
Yeah, you can just tell. You can just tell he's like a proper sound lad as well. But yeah, guys, let's talk a little bit about Luke Ayling, Jed Spence replacements. Then, I mean, out the names mentioned, Roberts, Nico Williams, and Ben Johnson. I mean, what would be, on paper, what would you be looking at as the most you'd want, in terms of out of those? Well, who do you want the most out of those names, Hannah? I mean, would you want the experience of a Colin Roberts, the creativity of a Williams, or the bit more of an unknown about a Ben Johnson?
I think I'd go for experience. just with obviously pushing for hopefully top 2. I would definitely go for experience. But if we could just, I mean, I'd be quite happy with just bringing one in, to be quite honest, because the thought of not getting one in is just awful. But yeah, I would say experience, just because of what we're aiming for. I think that's so important.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, for me, the way I look at it, for me, I'd go between Roberts or Williams. I think Roberts, I mean, the fact you've got 2 Welsh players there as well, you can add to the Welsh quota in the Leeds team. You know, that can only be a good thing. But I think, obviously, I think Williams is the better player, but I think Roberts is the more safer bet because of the fact he's played so much football at this level. You know, he's had to just come off the back of a really good season for Burnley at this level, won the league, got that experience. I've got to be looking at Roberts, you know. I do really like Williams, but I just think I think Williams is more unrealistic as well. I just don't think Forest will let him go. You know, because they are still in trouble. You know, he's a good player for them. I think realistically, it probably will be Roberts personally, and I'd be, you know, any of the 3 I'd be happy with, to be honest, because I think it's just an improvement on what we've already got because they're actual right backs. What are you saying, Jack?
I think I'm just going to go. I'm going to go with Perry, and I think at this time of season, how crucial it is. I think experience is more important than like potential. If you get what I mean. I mean, it's all right saying that. I mean, you look at Archie Gray. Archie Gray's done nothing wrong at right back, apart from probably 2 performances where he's obviously Jack Clark took him a piece, and then the winger at Preston took him a piece. And I think the only thing that that Archie struggled with is a fast, nippy, tricky winger who's prepared to go inside, outside, and I think he struggled a little bit with that. But again, Archie's not a right back; he's a midfielder, you know. And I could never ever say anything bad about how Archie's performed at right back when he's been put in a position which is totally alien to him. And you know, obviously that. The manager, Fark, has seen that he's capable of doing it, which we've seen he is, apart from maybe 1 or 2 games where he's, you know, he has been second best all game. But when he goes to, like, we could do with a proper 100% right back, someone who is a right back, and I do think that Connor Roberts would be the safe option because he's been there and he's done it. Like I say, he's won the title with Burnley last year. You know, he is a proven right back. You know, and it seems that he is more or less, is he surplus to requirements at Burnley at the minute?
Pretty much, it seems. Yeah. I mean, another thing to consider as well is that sort of triangle. Roberts, Rodon, and Ampadu in front of him. Yeah, they played at international tournaments together. You know, they know which way is up, kind of thing. So you look at that, and you know the fact Dan James as well, just ahead of him. You know, in terms of that, you got sort of like 4 players there, all quite close to each other. You know, who've played a lot of football together. You know. And they've done well for Wales. You know, let's not deny it. You know, they've got Wales up to heights where they've never been. You know, in terms of getting to tournaments. But this is an interesting one. This is actually from a Welsh football supporter. So this is obviously, you know, a lot more know-how about Connor Roberts. Saying, I'm not sure about Roberts, to be honest. His passing can be poor, and he gets caught out of position. In my opinion, he does have a good long throw, though. Okay, that's an interesting one. You know, let's see. Any other thoughts on Connor Roberts? I mean, the long throw, I'm trying to think if we've got enough height to make use of that. You know, long throw to Joe Rodon? I don't know. You know, something like that. Long throw to Pascal. Yeah, it's one of those things. But left back as well, Hannah, have been linked with Giles from Luton, who's played a lot of football at this level as well for Middlesbrough and Cardiff. I mean, what do you make of that one?
I just think it's such an important position. I think we need to focus on that one as well. I'd be quite happy with that, to be honest. I would be happy with that. I just hope that when we do bring in a right back, we actually do play them as a right back. Because it does always worry me that he's got, like, you know, playing people in the wrong positions and stuff.
Are we allowed to do that? Are we allowed to play like right backs at right back?
No, that's not how football is now. You just play people in the wrong position.
Is it? Just play people in their natural position. It's beyond me sometimes. Surely it's the basics and logic of football. If you're needing someone in that position and you bring someone for that purpose, play them there. Like, crazy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of comments coming in about Nico Williams as well. The fact he can play right back and left back, and you know, I think he's probably the best of the three for me in terms of quality in that lot. But I just feel it's unrealistic. I just think that one, I have a feeling that Forest will really drag the heels. They'll try and get another. The fact that Connor Roberts, we know he's available. I think Jack said before, he's surplus to requirements. Nico Williams, it just feels like it's going to take longer to get him in. And, do we really want to be getting someone in right at the back of the window when we played another 3 or 4 games in the league? That cup game against Plymouth, I think I'd just rather get someone in, integrated into the team, Cardiff away, Preston at home, Plymouth at home, and then just go from there. I don't think we can afford to be messing about, with players that, I think I'm still stung a bit by Amiri in the summer, when we were trying to get him from Leverkusen, the big sign, and thinking, wow, he's too good for the Championship in that lot. I don't want to do that again, in terms of get stung at the last minute. I don't know if you guys would agree.
Yeah, I never get too excited until I see it official.
Yeah,
well, that's it. As I think me and Oscar had a conversation before, and I said I don't take no notice of any social media. I don't take no notice of anything else until you see them doing their signing on video and holding scarves, stood in front of East Stand and looking out on it like, yeah, I'm going to play here and all that. Then they hadn't signed through the door. But I just want to bring this up. There's been obviously rumours. We're talking about Nico Williams, aren't we? But there's been rumours about Forest are going to sign Bamford, is there? I've seen. Seen
they
something
legit
like
though.
Well, let's get that one done then, and we'll have Nico Williams and give them Bamford and 5 million. We'll do that.
Or if he's going to keep scoring worldies like the other day, we should keep him.
Listen, I'm not having this, right? Listen, they were playing a League One side, right? Against a League One defender had been out on the piss till 3 in the morning. Didn't know what was going on. It was a one-off. I'm not having it, right? People getting carried away. I've seen him miss 2 yards against fucking Leicester at home to keep us up. Never mind these worldies from 30 yards. I'm not having it. No, I'm not getting involved in all that shit.
I'm still in shock over that goal. I think I've watched it like over 100 times, and it's still shocks me.
It was a good goal, but it don't make him a great player, and that's where I'm going to leave it at that.
Harsh, Jack. No, listen, it is one of those things. I mean, all of a sudden, Bamford's, the whole thing on Bamford's changed after 2 games. The fact that he scored against Birmingham, scored against Peterborough.
I remember him fucking that penalty against Stoke this year. I won't forget that. Him grabbing that ball for that penalty against Stoke. So never mind these worldies from 30 yards and all like that. They're things I remember. So no. Anyway, sell him to Forest. That's what I want to say. Get Nico Williams in and sell him to Forest.
But then we'd be really down on strikers.
Oh,
Leeds.
We'll put Archie Gray up front, then he can play anywhere. Can Archie Gray?
Dallas, get Dallas up front when he's back. First game back, Dallas 9 shirt. It's one of those, isn't it? I mean, is there any? Obviously, we're going to talk. Probably moved on a little bit from Luke Ayling now in terms of the chat. But is there anyone else you're looking? I mean, we've spoken about fullbacks. Is there anyone else you two guys are thinking? You know what? We really need him. We really need a 10. We really need a striker, winger. I mean, is there any position you're thinking we're desperate for someone there or numbers there?
A left back. I still think we need a left back, don't we?
Yeah, left back definitely.
We need a natural left back. I mean, I'm not a massive hater on Firpo as a lot of people are, and and it's all right. I'm slagging Bamford off here, but I've got my own reasons for that. But I'm not a massive hater on Firpo. I think I can understand he can't defend. He's a left back that can't defend. But going forward, he is pretty good. But he's a terrible defender as a left back. So I'm sort of what do you say? I'm sort of what the fucking word we say? Go on, Anna, you're intelligent. I'm contradicting myself here, aren't
I? I'm not a massive fan of Firpo, not gonna lie.
No, but I do think we just need a natural left back. I do. I
agree. It wouldn't shock me if we didn't bring a left back in though.
The trouble we've got as well, Byram and Firpo, no matter what you think about them performance, I think Byram's been really good, to be honest, when he's played. When he's played pound for pound. But it's the fitness, isn't it? How many different injuries he had this season, little injuries. We need the options there. There's a good chance if we stuck with Byram and Firpo, they get injured at the same time. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, who are you going to play at left back then? Are you going to put Strauch across to left back? Are you going to, I don't know, what else can you do? All of a sudden then you're really, really, short on numbers and you are struggling at left back. And then all of a sudden you have to move Pascal to left back. then you have to put someone else in at centre back, and it has a domino effect across the whole team.
Yeah,
for me,
it just
if you don't
disrupts
add
the
the
whole
numbers.
team. It just disrupts the whole team, doesn't it? And like Byram, I mean, you can't knock him when he's played, but he's just not reliable. You can't rely on him.
No, absolutely.
When you think about it, sorry, I'll just chip in. Right, when you think about it, do you think we're actually a bit threadbare squad-wise? When you think of actual players who, if someone got injured, that's going to come in and do a job. You know, when you look at, like, say, Biden gets injured, you've got Firp or thinking whatever. But when you look at the bench, does anyone ever fill you with sort of, yeah, we'll be all right here?
I think we're okay midfield. Wingers wise, I think Nonto and Anthony, all right, they're not in the best form at the minute, but I think they've got the potential to, be decent backups kind of thing. Up front, Pirou, I think, if he's going to be the backup to Bamford, I don't mind that too much. But I think there's two players that definitely stand out if they got injured that would really, really scare me. Rodon, for one. If Rodon got injured, we'd have big problems. And if Rutter got injured, all of a sudden then you're thinking creativity-wise, they're the two players that I look at. I think Somerville's our best player, but, Nonto, Anthony, I think are decent players at this level at the very least. But I think those two players are the ones that make me think, we've got no answer there, if they got injured.
But even up front for me, though, I think that's a bit, I know we go on about Bamford, but we all know we can't really, I know, like, it's controversial at the minute because he's everyone's favourite again, but you can't really rely on Bamford. We've seen, apart from Jack, obviously, but we've obviously seen some of the sitters he can miss, do you know what I mean? But then even Pirou, like, to me, like, sometimes and I know he's playing out of position a lot of the time, but sometimes I genuinely forget he's playing. Like, I have to be reminded, like, I go, oh yeah, Pirou's playing, isn't he? Because he just goes missing all of the time. So I don't know, even up front for me.
Yeah, I mean, but for me, I think Pirou's got the talent to play there. I do really do. I think he's more of a 10 than he is a striker. But I think for me, ultimately, he's kind of in between the two, in terms of. But for me, I think Rutter's got to play at 10 because you saw what Rutter could do against Birmingham. Creativity he brings in that position. He's got that free role to just play the game as he sees it, kind of thing, and just be. Carry the team almost, in terms of creating chances and stuff like that. I think Pirou's just got to find that eye of the tiger, that kind of determination to, get back on the goals. Because, you even look at sometimes, there's balls coming into the box and you're thinking, Pirou's got to get on the end of that. Pirou's got to attack that. Pirou's got to throw everything at it. And you're kind of looking at Pirou when he's on the edge of the box and I'm thinking, I think he can finish. I think in front of goal, when he gets a chance, I think, the way he strikes a ball, that goal he scored against Bristol City, the goals he scored at the start of the season, I think there's no doubt about it. He's got 20, 22, 24 goals last 2 years at Swansea, for a pretty poor Swansea team. The goals are there in him, but I think it's that, I hate using the word determination in that lot, but I want to see a little bit more from Pirou, to be honest with you. I think the talent's there, and I'm hoping that this drop-in for Bamford is going to really invigorate Pirou a little bit. I don't know what you guys think about that. I just think he needed that. I think he needed drop-in to sort of wake himself up that he's not a Swansea anymore. He's not the main man. Somerville, Rutter are the main players going forward. Mm-hmm. He's just got to, be an important piece of the jigsaw, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm making sense there at all, or...
Yeah, having competition is healthy. I've always said this with Melier over the years. He's just got that comfortable because he's never really had competition, has he? Let's be fair. I feel like he's just got that comfortable, and sometimes he's had some shockers. Let's be honest. So I think that's really really good for the squad.
Yeah, I just think it's all about how he responds to that, because I think on talent, I think he's a better player than Bamford. I think he's a far more talented player than Bamford in terms of taking chances, scoring goals, and doing what you want your number 9 to do, if that is what Pirou's going to be for us. Because that's the thing. Is he a 9? Is he a 10? Is he a bit of both? Doesn't he need to play in the front two? I don't know. I honestly don't know, to be honest, at this moment in time. It just feels like we've only seen glimpses of Pirou's best so far. I don't think he's been anywhere near the player he was at Swansea, and whatever the reason for that is. And even Melier, Hannah, that's a debatable one. I mean, Clarkson's come in. Listen, I don't think Clarkson is a particularly great keeper himself, but you look at it, I think in terms of playing out the back, I think Klaassen actually looks better than Meslier, to be honest with you, playing out the back. I think he looks a lot more comfortable, and I think the team's more calm, when we try and play out the back and we're not doing stupid things, in terms of losing the ball in really bad areas. I mean, it's up for debate that, in terms of, I think he's certainly ahead of Darlow for me, Klaassen now. I don't know, is that a debatable one, Klaassen and Meslier, or are we getting a bit too carried away there?
I think you might be getting a little bit too carried away. Maybe Klaassen's one for future. I mean, he hasn't done nothing wrong in the couple of games he's played. I can't say he has. I mean, the one thing I always remember, the one thing that stood out for Meslier, and I think his debut game with Arsenal at FA Cup and his distribution that night were phenomenal. He was in 60-yard passes, left, right, centre, straight to the feet. And these days, when you watch Meslier, sometimes I nearly have an heart attack with him. He seems to think he has so much time on the ball, and he's going to get caught one of these days. And I watch him, and the amount of times he just seems to knock it out there. He's obviously left-footed. He'll knock it off his left foot. The striker's bombing in, and he just thinks he's got all time in the world. And sometimes fucking my heart starts pumping.
But he's so left-footed as well. Like he would never think to use his right foot. So left-footed as well.
All left-footed. He is, and
some of what Meslier does is unnecessary.
Yeah. I think that's what I was trying. What you just said there, Anna. I think that's what I'm trying to sort of get at, and that's what's frustrating about him as a shot stopper. Meslier, I think it's one of the. What it is with Meslier, when you don't have to think about it, he's unbelievable. He can just pull this save out of nowhere. But then, like say, crosses and that, you have heart attacks on crosses because he cannot catch a ball. He cannot. It's like, say, you watch that Alisson for Liverpool.
Yeah.
A ball comes in, he's taking his defenders, he's taking everyone out to grab that ball. And as a defender, that's what you want from a keeper. Smash your own players to get that ball so that you keep it. But with Meslier, the amount of time you see him and he just comes out to punch it, it's like he ain't got the confidence. I don't think he's actually got the physique either.
I was going to say, he's not got. He hasn't really got a goalkeeper's frame for me.
No, he ain't. He's quite tall and slim, isn't he? He's tall and light, and he ain't got that. Say a big burly centre forward there. He'll just elbow him straight in the ribs or whatever, and it'll put him off, won't it? Whereas that's why I think he tries to punch it all the time. I don't think he's so sure on himself about catching that ball when it's coming into a box. He'd rather just try and punch it because his arms can reach higher. And obviously we've seen a few mistakes from him in the past with the punches, but I'm not going to condemn him. I know a lot of people are a bit 50-50 about him, but I still think we've got a good keeper there. Whether it's going to be one for the foreseeable future, I don't think so. I think maybe this somebody could move on. That's what I honestly.
At this level, he's fine. I do.
I don't think he's a Premier League keeper. Even though obviously he's an international with France, not full international, but I don't think he is. I don't think the frame and the build of him is right for the keeper. It's like, remember De Gea at Man United? He was saying you just target him, just pump high balls into him, and he'd just fumble it or whatever. You just bully him, wouldn't you? And I think that Meslier is that kind of keeper. I think he'd get bullied too easy in Premier League again.
It's a bit of a worry on Cardiff, because what Cardiff is going to be like on Saturday. It's going to be set pieces. Yeah. It's always the same at Cardiff.
Is he back for Cardiff?
He'll start on Saturday. Yeah, he's back. He'll start.
I think he will start, but it does worry me a little bit. You got the in-swinging corners coming in. It's probably going to be chucking it down. Coles, you're thinking it's going to be that Cardiff game. Cold. Oh, it's always cold. But I've made peace with the facts. No matter what happens in that Cardiff game, win, lose or draw, it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be a horrid game out on Saturday.
It always is down there, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just Cardiff, innit? They'll make it ugly. They'll make it horrible. It's just Cardiff, innit? It's not going to be a football for a game for the purists, should we say? It's just going to be a dogfight. And it's who's got the most balls on there, I think, to get the points.
But these are the ones we've got to start winning now. We've lost at Preston, we've lost at West Brom, lost at Stoke. I mean, some of these ones are making me crease, like Birmingham. We've got to start winning these games now. If we're going to close in the gap, we've got to start winning these games.
I think myself and Tash have said, I think what it is, as well, you know, we can't handle this team that have this low block, you know, that are keeping, they're sitting in. We just do not know what to do with them. We can't. It's like, well, obviously, when we played Ipswich were going to have a go. And that's why I think that performance came. Because if a team lets us have a go, we'll destroy them. We'll destroy any team in that league if they let us play us game. But any team that's going to sit back and just defend and hopefully try and get a break, we cannot handle that. And that's going to be our downfall, because that's the difference between, like, that's what Leicester find a way. Leicester will find a way to get round teams like that, but we can't. I don't think we can seem to find it. At home, we're fine at home. I think we are. We're fine at home, but away, I think we struggle against teams with this low block, and we're just going to sit back and play with 5 and a 4, and just try and hit us on the break and just stop us playing. You know, and we get devoid of ideas, and I've seen it too many times this year. And I think Saturday could be very, very much the same against Cardiff.
It's just the confidence, isn't it? If we can come through that Cardiff game, even if it's like one shot, you know, it comes off someone's arse or whatever, or it's a handball to win it, I don't really care. Just as long as we get the win.
Just a 1-0 win.
Just an ugly
1-0 win. Yeah. Just to get that away win again, because how many games is it now without a win away from home?
It's quite a few. I think it's Blackburn, but Blackburn, there was quite a while before Blackburn, Leicester. So, I mean, there's not many this season.
It's the home form's been good, hasn't it? The home form's
Blackburn and Leicester had a go at us. You know, Blackburn definitely had a go at us that first sort of half of the game.
And Leicester did as well. But that's what suits us. But I don't think Cardiff will sit back, and they'll just want to make it as difficult and as ugly as possible for us.
And then Norwich as well. That was a crazy game, and Norwich just went full Eccles kind of thing, and we just picked them off, didn't we? It's one of those. I mean, does it worry you as well, Hannah? You know, the fact that it does feel like the away games, it's always the same kind of pattern, isn't it? That first sort of half an hour, 40 minutes, it's sideways pass, backwards, sideways, long ball, we lose the header, and then it's just like, it just feels like it's so slow away from home, isn't it, this moment in time?
Yeah, our away form it's really letting us down, isn't it? And it's awful to watch as well. It's frustrating. Like when I'm going on Saturday as well. And when you're in the stands and you're watching, it's just
what time you setting up? What time you setting up?
Tomorrow. I'm literally going
tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm going tomorrow. Lovely 5.5 hours.
Are you having night down there? You having the night down?
Yeah, we've got a half a day at work tomorrow, so we're going to set off tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to go and have a few drinks tomorrow night. It's just a nightmare getting away tickets, but luckily I got these. I mean, of course I did the first, like, so far away. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I do worry about that because it's so frustrating to watch as well. You just wish you could kick the ball for them, but yeah, we'll see. I do think if we are really serious about the top 2, though, we need to start picking up results away from home. We can't just rely on our home form. You can't. So hopefully Saturday, be worth the 5.5 hour drive there, 5.5 hour drive back.
Yeah, exactly. But if you take the factor away from home, away crowds, all this lot out of it, Cardiff versus Leeds, I'm not being arrogant in. People saying being arrogant. There's not one Cardiff player in that 11 that they've got that I'd take at Leeds. I'm being genuine here. When I was looking at the Cardiff team before, I was thinking, quality-wise, we've got to start making that count now. I know there's more to it in the Championship and that lot, but you see these games, Stoke away as well, Birmingham away, 1 or 2 players at most you take, you know, in terms of get anywhere near our team. You know, in terms of quality, we've got to start winning these games, haven't we, really? But we're Bielsa at home, aren't we? But we're Marsh away this season. We are, aren't we, now?
More like
Mike Bassett away.
Yeah.
Oh,
maybe that's what we need to do away from home. 4-4 into.
No, I don't. 4-4 fucking 2.
I don't know. It's one of those. I mean, do we need to be a bit more physical away from home? You know, buy a bit more of a target man up top. I don't know. I mean, what is the solution now if we don't win against Cardiff?
Depending on the results, I don't know. I say I don't look. I don't know Southampton have got. I don't know Ipswich have got. I don't even look at what Leicester have got because forget about Leicester. But you've just look. a decent enough performance at the weekend against Peterborough. What's that? He needs a big one.
What's it? I've just seen the last bit of that. Who's SpongeBob?
Oh no, I don't know, but I like it.
SpongeBob in that scenario. Listen, the first bit I agree with. Do we need? I don't know why it has to be an ugly 9. I don't know why that next bit why it has to be ugly. But a big 9, okay. I agree with all that, but I don't know what the SpongeBob. Who's SpongeBob in that scenario, Scooby?
Southampton have got Chef Word.
Marsh.
Oh, they got Chef Word.
Yeah, and
I think Sunderland. I think Ipswich got.
Ipswich, are they both away? Are they both away?
Ipswich are at home. No, they're both at home.
Oh, home, all right.
Wednesday are on it though, Wednesday form-wise, they've got it in it.
Yeah, they started picking a few points up, haven't they? So, well, we could do with 2 draws.
Yeah. Sunderland as well. I think Sunderland, I think they've got, some players that can cause problems. Clark as well. You never know. Ipswich have not won in 6, I don't think. Is it 5 or 6? They are on a terrible run.
I think since we did what we did to them, they've gone off a boil a bit, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's just so typical that we can't capitalise on it, and it's just so Leeds, isn't it? They drop points and we can't gain points on them. We drop them and all. It's just frustrating, isn't it?
Do you know what I need to throw in here though, just to finish off with? Refereeing this season. I tell you, we've West Brom away. I know as much as that game we were shocking in that game, didn't deserve anything from it. But at 0-0, they should be down to 10 men, and we should have had a penalty in that game. And it did. To be honest with you, I hate VAR. I absolutely hate it. But we would have won the game with VAR. There's certain games this season where I look at and think, I really don't want VAR this season. Don't get me wrong. But there's certain games this season where I'm thinking decisions against us. You're thinking, is it the EFL just want to keep us in the league because we're their cash cow? Genuinely, you look at it and think, you look at the decisions Ipswich are getting. It was that dodgy penalty against Leicester. These teams are getting decisions every week.
Some lucky things. I've said the same thing, Oscar. It makes me think, is I'm quite passionate about my opinions on all this corrupt stuff, but it does make me think they want Leeds because it's where the money is, isn't it? But what was that game where was it Preston away Boxing Day, and the linesman changed his decision 3 times. I was just like, are you watching the game?
Yeah, I remember that. We went to the game and I got a bit confused, thinking what's going on. I'm not saying it would the black linesman, wasn't it? The one that it would not.
Yeah, and he changed his decision 3 times.
Black linesman, and he changed it 3 times, didn't he? And even I was stood there thinking, what's going on here like that? Give it to them, give it to Leeds, then give it back to them. A throw-in, it would crazy.
What was the actual decision? I can't remember which decision it was. Was it the penalty?
I can't remember what it was. No, it wasn't the penalty.
He won the
penalty. I feel like it was against us, wasn't it? It was something that it wasn't sending off. It wasn't sending off, but he went straight away.
Kick or something. I just remember because they were flagging that way, and they were flagging that way, and I'm like, what's he fucking doing here? And then it was crazy.
It's been shocking though. The refs. It's been shocking. Absolutely shocking. But then I feel like I can't win because I hate VAR. I hate it. It's so inconsistent anyway. Even though, the technology and stuff, they still get it wrong. So can't really win, can you?
Yeah, one of those things. But I don't know, guys, if there's anything else you want to touch on. I mean, I think we've covered quite a lot of hot topics, haven't we, really, today?
Yeah, I'm saying we're going to go up in playoffs at Wembley. That's what I'm saying. That's it.
Top two. Come on.
Oh no,
it could all go down the last game of the season. I mean, don't we have Southampton at home?
Yeah. If we were in 3 points,
watch it go down to that.
Oh, imagine that. Oh,
they would have to. If we're within 2 points of them or they're within 2 points of us, you just know there's going to be something controversial to happen in that game. You just can see it straight away, can't you?
We'll just get Beckford back on pitch to score. Bristol Rovers all over again.
Get Max Gradle to get himself sent off. Go down to 10 men.
will he not get sent off and start fighting with them all, and then Beckford will come on and be captain and score winner. That's what's
there. You
happen.
go. It's it. It's
if anything
we'll
dodgy will happen, though, it certainly won't be for us. It'll be for them.
Yeah. Oh.
But again, do you look at that and think, is that us playing Southampton on the last game of the season? That seems a bit. Have they gone for the scripts there, the EFL? Have they gone for the big script at the end of the season?
No, that's conspiracy upon conspiracy. You can't say that, can you? You didn't know if Southampton be bottom or anything. No, it's just, it is what it is, isn't it?
Am I going Matt Letizia here in terms of conspiracy theory?
No, I've had the exact same thought, Oscar. I've thought the same.
Listen, I'm one of the worst conspiracy theorists going.
I know you are. I know you are. We've discussed a few conspiracy theories.
I cannot believe that. That's not conspiracy. That's just how it's panned out on it. But it would be fun, wouldn't it? Imagine it. Last game of the season, there's 2 points between us.
Yeah.
And it all goes down to there's 1 point between us, both on same goal difference. And it's
a mini playoff final, effectively. You know, if it's a playoff final, basically.
Who's going to get second?
Yeah.
Both on same goal difference, same points. Who's going to get second place? Oh, it'd be brutal.
The script is written, honestly, guys. The script's written already.
I don't even think I could go to a game. I'd be just nervous. I would.
Did you go to Magaluf early? A week early?
Something like that, yeah. I have a defibrillator beside me in South Stand. But then again, there'd be probably, with all blokes around me, there'd be probably about 55,000 defibrillators. Everyone would need about 3 each for that game.
Right then, guys, I think we'll wrap it up there, I reckon. I think it's been a really good chat. And yeah, guys, please hit that like button. Plenty of you in the chat tonight. Hit the subscribe button as well. Get in the comments too. Your thoughts on what we discussed today. Your thoughts on Luke Ayling. All right, sum up in one word, people in the comments, your description of Luke Ayling's time at Leeds United in one word. Let's see what we get. Anyway, guys, hit that subscribe button as well. We are on that road to 30k. We're almost there. And plenty more content to come. And we will leave it there anyway, guys. I will try and end this stream, which is probably going to go very badly.